Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to podcast 3, season 3 of You Know Us, the Blue Collar Workers. As always, I'm John, Sean or Yaka, depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris.
It's lovely to see you again on this really unpleasant, wet, miserable Monday morning.
Standard British morning.
Yeah, standard British morning, as you could expect. As you are probably already aware, on my side today we've got vets are under pressure, corporate pressure to increase revenue, so the BBC has been told. Britain can legally stop shadow fleet tankers, the ministers believe. Epstein kept me separate from his sexual side because I'm gay, Madison tells the BBC. I am so going to have a fucking word about that. And thousands of homes are still without water in the south-east. Over on Chris's side today.
Right, so just doing a brief recap of obviously Storm Goretti, so obviously the effect it's had. What I mentioned last year on a quick recap, last week, shall I say, the Met Police vetting scandal. I've gone researched into articles on that. Absolutely disgusting. Obviously fatal crash, missing identification sparks a national outrage. And where is it? No, I don't want that one. Where'd it go?
Where'd it go? That's it's a story of your love life.
Oh, there it is. Water crisis.
That's another story. Oh, there it is. I'm just being mean to him this morning.
Yes, it makes no change. Water crisis in Tunbridge Wells continues, and also as an extra one which I found, Stammer could send the military to Greenland as Trump ratchets up rhetoric.
Yeah. I think it's inevitable that there's going to be some kind of military retaliation of what's going on. America is overexerting itself against its own allies, and this is an inevitably horrible event that's about to happen. Well, let's get cracking. Vets under corporate pressure to increase revenue. Vets have told BBC Panorama they feel under increased pressure to make money for the big companies that employ them and worry about the costly financial impact on pet owners. Prices charged by UK vets rose by 63% between 2016 and 2023. Externally, the government's compensation regulator have questioned whether the pet care market, as it stands, is giving customers value for money. Our anonymous vets who work for the UK's largest vet care provider, IVC, Evidency, said that the company had introduced a new monitoring system that could encourage vets to offer pet owners costly tests and treatment options. Spokesperson for IVC told Panorama the group of vets and vet nurses never prioritise revenue or transaction value over and above the welfare of the animal in their care. This is the company. More than half of the UK households are thought to own pets externally. Over the past few months, hundreds of pet owners have contacted the BBC Your Voice with concerns about vet bills. One person said they had paid $5,600 for an 18-hour vet care for their pet.
What the hell?
I would have paid anything to save him, but felt afterwards we have been taken advantage of. Well, yeah, you know, if you have pets, almost like they're like family in most British households these days. Another described how their dog had undergone numerous blood tests and screenings, and at the end of the treatment, we were none the wiser about her illness, and we were presented with a bill for 13 grand.
Damn.
So you did fuckloads of blood tests, charge them 13 grand, and you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. Typical fucking corporate marketing. I would say that's a no-fault situation. There should be no-fault law. If you can't determine what it is, you don't get to charge 13 fucking grand. Mounting concern over whether pet owners are receiving a fair deal prompted a formal investigation by government watchdogs, the Companies and Markets Authority, the CMA. In a provincial report externally at the end of last year, it identified several issues, whether vet companies are being transparent about their ownerships of the individual practices and whether pet owners have enough information about pricing. The concentration of vet practices and clinics in the hands of companies that now control 60% of the UK pet care market. Whether these concerns have led to less market competition and allowed some vet care companies to make excessive profits. Hitting targets. A vet who leads one of IVC's surgeries and who does not want to be identified because they fear they could lose their job, has shared a new internal document with Panorama. The document uses a colour coding to compare the company's UK-wide tests and treatments options and states that it is intended to help staff improve clinic care. The list keys performances indicated in categories that include average sales per patient, x-rays, ultrasounds and lab tests. The vet is worried about the new policy. We will have meetings every month where one of the area team will ask you how many blood tests, x-rays and ultrasounds you're doing. Not to the care of the animal, not to the requirement of the animal, but how many are you doing as a quote pro rata. The vet is worried about if the category is marked in green on the chart, the clinic would be judged to be among the company's top 25% of achievers in the UK. A red marker, on the other hand, would mean that the clinic was in the bottom 25%. If that happens, the vet says it might be asked to come up with a plan of action. The vet says that this would create pressure to upsell services. For instance, the vet says, under the new model, the IFV would prefer any animal with suspected osteoarthritis to potentially be x-rayed with sedation. That could add a £700 to the bill, £700. Well, x-rays are sometimes necessary, the vet says. The signs of osteoarthritis, the thickness of joints, for instance, could be obvious to an experienced vet who might prefer to prescribe a less expensive anti-inflammatory treatment. Vets shouldn't have pressure to do an x-ray because it would play into whatever they are getting green on their card framework for their clinic. IVC has told Panorama it is extremely proud of the work its clinical teams do, and the data it collects is to identify and close gaps in care for our patients. It says its vets have clinical independence. Bollocks. Not under this model, they don't. And that the priority revenue over care would be against the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons code and IVC's policy. You see, the IVC mentions the college because they know that they've got people on the college board. See, many of these vetting companies, they're the board members of these vets. They are paid members of these various companies, much like the same with the Board of Surgeons in Britain.
Yeah.
There are medical companies who have people on those boards now. It says its vets have clinical independence and that the priority revenue over care would be against the college, as I just said. Panorama spoke to more than 30 vets in total who are currently working or have worked for some of the large veterinary groups. One recalls being told that not enough blood tests were being taken. We were pushed to do more. I hated opening emails. Another says that when the small practices were sold to a large company, it was crazy. It was all about hitting targets. Not all the big companies set target monitors staff in this way. UK pet owners spend 6.3 billion on vets and other pet care services in 2024, equal to just over 365 per pet owner household. Now, if you're doing that over a year, you pay 360 quid for your dog. If you want to check their health's good, their blood's good, etc., wouldn't you?
I see. I got a plan in place.
Yeah.
Anyway, for their flea and worm treatment.
Yeah. So 360 quid isn't bad if you're spreading it over a year,
Like
but it's
car
not.
insurance, but
Yeah. However, most pet owners in the UK do not have insurance, and bills can leave less well-off families feeling helpless when treatment is needed. Many vets used to not display prices, and pet owners often had no clear idea of what treatments would cost. But in the past 2 years, they have improved, according to the CMA. Rob Jones has told Panorama that when his family dog, Betty, fell ill during the autumn of 2024, they took her to an emergency treatment centre, Vets Now, and she underwent an operation that cost them almost £5,000. 12 days later, Betty was still unwell, and Rob says he was advised that she could have a serious infection. He was told a diagnosis and another operation would cost around £5,000 to £8,000.
fucking hell.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the state. And it's only going to upscale the more and more closer we get to an American model. And this is why we have to escape these American models, because they are not intrusive to British standards of living.
No, because they want everyone to have insurance.
Yeah, yeah. We need to move further away from the American model of business and less reliant on their way of doing things. I'm deadly serious about this. Whether it's veterinary, whether it's healthcare, we need to escape this matrix system that people like Kay Bennock and Nigel Farage want us to go down. They want us to follow the American model. And I'm telling you, as an Irishman, you don't want to do this. This is a fucking disaster waiting to happen. Opinions?
What? It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
It's true. I can understand, obviously, having insurance for a pet, because I do own a pet. But obviously, I'm not going to lie, the older the dog gets, the more expensive it gets. And you wonder why people don't have insurance for their pets and then end up paying these sort of bills, because by the sounds of it, the vetting companies are stretching it, so if you have insurance, you're fine. If you don't, we're whacking you with a bill.
Of course, absolutely.
Which is the American model.
As I said, and I fundamentally have a problem with the American model as it is. Over to you, my boy.
Oh, lovely one. I'm going to, because obviously of our lovely last talk about Greenland, I'm going to start, got to follow on with that, because I think it's actually quite relevant. Starmer could send military to Greenland as Trump ratchets up his rhetoric. Sir Keir Starmer is considering sending British troops to the Greenland as Donald Trump's rhetoric over snatching the Danish territory continues to ratchet up. It comes just days after the Prime Minister committed to sending troops to Ukraine as the core of the coalition of the willing to guarantee the peace, with former senior military top brass questioning whether the UK has enough personnel. The revelation comes. No, I was literally thinking that.
We don't.
On that sentence. The revelation comes after former Obama Assistant Secretary of State Frank Rose told The Independent that Mr. Trump's actions threaten to undermine US defense in the region and lead to allies turning on him.
Oh yeah.
President Trump has insisted he wants control over Greenland and has not ruled out the prospect of using military force to seize the semi-autonomous Danish territory. Transport Secretary Hindi Alexander insisted this decision about securing the High North against Russia and China were part of NATO's business as well, rather than response to the US military threat. Tory leader Kemi Bennock.
She's a coward.
Yeah. Ambassador
who? The Prime Minister?
Ambassador the discussions warning there is a danger the NATO alliance could collapse, and arguing that Greenland is a second order issue.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's the principle. So I'm going to pause you there for a minute, Chris. It's a principle of, does a superpower have the right to seize its allies' property?
No.
Of course, absolutely not. No, of course not. Absolutely not. You're allies. When Britain and France were allied against Spain during the 15th, 16th century, they weren't stealing each other's fucking land when England had land in France. I mean, just no. Fucking no on so many fucking levels.
She told the BBC's Laura Koenigsberg, right now, what I'm really concerned about is if there is going to be a NATO, we need to keep America on side. How about fuck off?
I think America is going out. America's imploding.
I'm sorry, but Kemi, if you think the only way NATO's going to stay together is by America being there,
that's
you
just
are
delusional.
Fucking wrong. Yeah, I know for a fact if America oversteps its territory, NATO will kick America out, and they won't give a shit. Yeah, America is trying to push its lovely little boyish antics onto everybody else, and everyone else is saying fuck off. So, yeah. Meanwhile, former UK ambassador to the US, Lord Peter Motherson, insists that he does not believe Mr. Trump will send US troops to take control of Greenland, accusing critics of the US president of wanting to clutch at their perils rather than face reality. However, the Labour peer was also crucial of the Prime Minister, who sacked him as an ambassador for not producing the promised spending increase on defence.
I wanted to make a point, Chris. There is an outstanding example of 7 stages of.
I was reading that the other day, actually.
Of the collapse of an empire. You have the age of pioneers, the age of conquest, the age of commerce, the age of affiliation, the age of intellectual, the age of decadence. We are exiting America's age of decadence, and we are heading into the age of decline and collapse. Whether people like it or not, America isn't acting like it's the single world power anymore. It's acting like it's a frightened child that that realizes that there are equals on the stage with it, and therefore it wants to shore itself up as a regional power, and it's not. It's not going to fall into a regional power. Donald Trump might end up being the last president of the United States of America because of these very realities. America has devalued its currency. America has damaged its international standings. It's got bases in 700 places around the fucking world. America's collapse, I think, is inevitable at this point. And I'm not even a doomsinger. That's the scary thing.
The Telegraph reported that the military chiefs are drawing up plans for a possible NATO mission to Greenland, which can involve British soldiers, warships and planes being deployed to the island. Ms. Alexander downplayed the suggestion, telling that Ms. Konsberg the report possibly reads something more into business as usual discussions amongst NATO allies than that actually are. I think someone's in denial here. She said the UK agreed with President Trump that the Arctic Circle is becoming an increasingly contested part of the world with the ambitions of Vladimir Putin and China. Whilst we haven't seen any appealing consequences in that part of the world that we have seen in Ukraine, it is really important that we do everything that we can with all of our NATO allies to ensure that we have a effective deterrent in that part of the globe against Putin.
So let me give you some historical terminology when we're talking about the Greenland and what's going on here. A related, more modern economical pattern follows an overreaching currency debasement, debit spiral, loss of productivity, social decay, loss of reserve currency, leading to swift collapse. These systems happen to Spain, Britain, and the USSR. America is 5 out of 7 of these terms now. They're overreached. They've already currently debased. They have their debits like 38 fucking trillion.
Yeah.
They have loss of productivity. Their production has been outsourced. They're in social decay. They haven't lost the status as a reserve currency yet. But if they do, America is fucked. If the petrodollar collapses, as we suspect it is going to do very soon, if America's currency stops becoming a reserve currency, America will implode. There is nothing physically backing the dollar. It is the fiat itself.
So going on the article, Mr. Trump said he wants to get control over Greenland, which has a strategic location and natural resources, and if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. But Lord Madison said he did not believe Mr. Trump would use military against a NATO ally. President Trump is not going to land on Greenland to take Greenland by force, he said. He is not a fool. What's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of discussion, a lot of consolidation, a lot of negotiation, and at the end of the day, we're all going to have to wake up to reality that Arctic needs securing against China and Russia. How about giving the Greenland people the opportunity to do that themselves?
Trump is going to probably push this towards a military encounter. That's the way he thinks. I'm tired of people saying he won't do it, because he will.
The moment he turns around and starts sending...
The thing about Trump, Chris, is when people say that he won't do something,
he will.
He does.
Yeah. It's going to end up with him assembling military to go take Greenland, and then he's going to be shocked when he sees NATO standing on Greenland's border and going, fuck off.
It's not just that. The economical, as I said in our previous podcast that's now up, the economical impact of America losing Europe will be the end of America. There is nothing, not a fucking naffy sandwich Britain can do about that. If the European bloc says out because you've annexed Greenland, America's economic system totally collapses. They cannot suffer the financial backlash of losing European markets.
This goes on. And if you ask me who's going to lead the effort to secure, we all know, don't we, that it's going to be the United States.
Yeah, of course. Kelly Murdoch is a coward. She continues to follow the Americans like Margaret Thatcher did, a lapdog.
He argued that Mr. Trump believes we live in a world of conflicts and hard power, and sometimes nettles need to be grasped. We have to understand that. I reckon you're just trying to secure more power because you realise you're on the verge of collapse. And you want those resources, Greenland's there, because if you say it's yours and you go collapse, you can say Greenland comes on me.
No. If America collapses, Chris, if the American model implodes, there's nothing. None of these wealthy billionaires will be in that country by the end of the month.
They'll be gone. Because
they'll flee. Because America has an enormous population. For it to implode, there will be a fuckload of blood. An absolute fucking trainload of it. I don't think for a second that the collapse of America is something anyone wants, but I think we are probably now looking at it. We are observing the end of America as a world power, and maybe not as a country. Yeah. I hope not as a country, but maybe but definitely as a world power.
The only thing I can think of is that if he does overreach, or if, for whatever reason, NATO bends over and lets him take Greenland, that's the end of Western society.
No. But the fact is, they won't. Denmark won't. Denmark will force its allies to be allies or not. That's the Prime Minister said that.
Yeah.
It's a line.
And as we said already, we've got in the previous video, France, UK,
Spain, the whole lot of them.
Spain, Italy, all already backing.
All the military powers are backing Denmark.
And Poland.
So I mean, the reality is
Poland, when that's bought up all American arms, is now a good time to use it against them if they invade Greenland. How ironic!
It doesn't even need to be a firing match. All Europe needs to say is get your fucking bases off our continent, get your businesses out of our countries. You're fucking dumped. Once they do that, that's $7 trillion down. America will not recover from that. Greenland will not recover that damage. That's why I say this is absolutely fucking barking crazy. Mad on a marsh hare's left fucking testicle. I know that sounds a bit on the strange side, but it really is quite balmy that anyone would ever think that using military arms against your ally, when your ally represents a huge chunk of your market, and if your allies think that you're untrustworthy, that you're attacking them, because that's what it is. America seizing Greenland is an attack on an ally. There's no other word for it. The UK can legally stop Shadow Fleet tankers, ministers believe. The government has identified a legal basis which it believes can be used to allow the UK military to board and detain vessels in so-called shadow fleets, the BBC News understands. Russia, Iran and Venezuela have all been accused of operating ships without valid national flags to avoid sanctions on oil. Last week, Britain's armed forces assisted US troops in seizing the Mariana oil tanker, which American officers accused of carrying oil from Venezuela, Russia and Iran, breaking US sanctions. To date, no UK military personnel have boarded any vessel, but officials have spent the last few weeks exploring what measures could be used. The Sanctions and Monetary Laundering Act, external from 2018, can be used to approve the use of military force, ministers believe. It is understood that there are any plans for any armed forces to be using these powers, in which there is being described inside government as a ramping up of actions against these ships. It is not known exactly when the UK's first military action might occur. Two of these oil tankers, subject to US sanctions, were reportedly spotted sailing east through the English Channel towards Russia on Thursday. The UK has already imposed sanctions on more than 500 alleged shadow vessels, which it believes are helping to fund hostile actions, including Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Ministers say that the actions taken by the UK and its allies have forced around 200 ships off the sea, most of which will have been operating without a legitimate flag. Ship flagging is a procedure used to register a vessel to a specific country, which then allows it to travel in international waters and offers it a certain protection under the law. The government believes that the new legal mechanism that they have identified could be applied to any sanctioned vessel not legitimately flagged. Officials say that this would have included the Mariana tanker, which is seized last week by the US. I agree with this because it's protecting international law. The act of what they're doing is reinforcing the rules-based system that Donald Trump is trying to fucking destroy.
I say, literally, by signs of it, they're just doing their job and going, oh, you was fucking travelling through our waters, you pieces of scumbag.
Without flags, without justification, without legal representation. The Mariana, a Venezuelan-linked ship, previously known as the Bella 1, was stopped by the US Coast Guard as it travelled through the northern Atlantic Oceans between Iceland and Scotland. Minister of Defence said the US asked the UK for assistance and that the RAF surveillance aircraft and the Royal Navy support ship RFA Tide Force took part in the operation. Defence Secretary John Henley said the action was in all full compliances with international law, and the UK will not stand by as malignant actors increase on the high seas. Henley told MPs on the Wednesday that the government was stepping up actions on the shadow fleets, developing further military operations and strengthening coordination with allies. It is understood that identifying these legal mechanisms was one of the further military options that Henley was referring to. The US has increased actions against Shadow Fleet's vessels, with 5 tankers seized in recent weeks. Minister of Defence spokesperson said the Defence Secretary set out in Parliament this week that deterred, disrupted and degraded the Russian Shadow Fleet is a priority for the government. It is, because we're trying to stop them from fucking destroying Ukraine, which the funding of that oil is doing. Transport Secretary Helder Alexander said on Sunday that the number of insurance checks were being increased, with more than 600 ships stopped while sailing close to the British Isles. Vessels with not legally flagged generally have no insurance, which experts have warned could lead to a crisis if they were involved in an incident and expensive oil spills. But Alexander said it would not be appropriate to say how many alleged shadow vessels were known to have sailed in UK waters. She told Sky News, "Proving you with the information only helps one person, and that person is President Putin."
He's pushing his luck.
Oh, no, he is, because he has to make his money, so he's selling his oil however he can. So is Venezuela, so is Iran. Your thoughts?
Well, they're just digging themselves in a deeper hole, aren't they? So,
you see, but that's the thing. I don't think the Russians are. I think the Russians are testing the water while America is floundering at the continual growth of China. And that's what you see. Iran and Russia wouldn't have done this 10 years ago. They wouldn't have. They wouldn't have even tried it 10 years ago. It's because they now can see that China is strong enough, not necessarily to take on the US, but to disrupt the US's hegemony, their single right to dictate policy and power. So that's why smaller powers are taking the fucking piss, because they're allied to another big power that isn't in conflict with that one yet, but it's big enough to think about it.
Big enough to cause disruption.
Yeah. And that makes the Americans nervous, and that's probably why we've got Donald Trump, and that's probably why we've got these insanities about seizing Venezuelan oil and basically invading fucking Greenland, which is a headache for everybody who lives in the West. Over to you, old boy.
All right, Storm Goretti. Obviously, the week has passed. We obviously had it.
Oh, that cost me shifts.
I would say also it's going to be a bit of a two-part. Just a quick recap of what exactly we had hit us and the aftermath. Basically, Storm Goretti gusts of up to 99 miles per hour. 99 miles per hour in Cornwall, as a rare and windy warning in the force for parts of southwest England. The Met Office warned, obviously, to expect flight debris resulting in danger to life. The sort of warning that is only issued in the most extreme conditions, writes BBC Weather's Simon King. It's absolutely nuts.
Oh no, completely. As I said, we had 99 miles an hour in Greta. I lost 2 fucking shifts. Snow and ice
winds to hit Cornwall and the Isles of Sicily up to basically almost 100 miles an hour. The warning meant there was a danger to life, and the Met Office said there will be exceptionally strong winds that are likely to cause damage to buildings and homes. An amber snow warning covers most of the Midlands and the Mid Wales, with heavy snow falling there. Our reporter William Venor had to abandon his car after getting stuck in the Peak District. I
shouldn't laugh, I'm sorry.
There are yellow warnings for snow, rain and ice across many parts of the UK, and adverse conditions are expected to cause disruption.
This is not today. This is the storm that's gone on, just so
that was to obviously disrupt on the Friday. Right, that's just a quick recap of what we're expected to get. And now the aftermath.
The aftermath.
Britain's braced for flooding in the aftermath of Storm Goretti. Yeah.
I do not need flooding. That's as bad as fucking snow and ice. I drive 2 wheels.
But Britain is literally based for flooding after the aftermath of Storm Goretti. Right, the way to fact the article was up a minute ago and out saying you have to pay your pain in the ass.
Oh! Put your hand in your pocket, you cheap bastard.
And you can get it for free. Why? The aftermath of Storm Goretti has left significant impact in the UK, particularly in Cornwall, where the storm caused widespread damage and disruption. The storm brought gusts of over 123 miles per hour. So not the 99, it exceeded it. Yeah. leading to closure of schools and businesses and the need for clean-up efforts. The storm also resulted in power outages with thousands of homes affected, emergency services on high alert as communities access the damage and brace for more wintry weather. The storm has been described as a weather bomb, intensely rapidly and causing widespread chaos across the county.
Of course, because it had multiple effects. It had ice, sleet, snow, rain. Where you are in the country, you're getting hit by something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a wind's going to do you. Rain's going to do you. Oh, you're on a hill, snow's going to do you.
Yeah, but literally, by the sounds of it, we're going to get flooding and it's going to be everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah. I think that's partly because of the fact, obviously, where we've already had the high intensity rain, plus the snow, plus the cold weather. It's going to be a mixture of hard ground from the cold, plus the fact that the ground is already sodden from the amount of heavy downpour.
I've already lost some shifts. I don't need to lose any more shifts.
Obviously, it's depending on the area that you're living in. Because obviously, the ones that had snow, it's more likely going to be the ground's hard, so the water's just going to run off. And for where we are, it's going to be the fact that the ground's already sodden enough. It's just going to pile it up.
Just like that. The snow and ice has already done me one. Done me one this January as it is.
But yeah, expect flooding. Keep an eye on that lovely weather
Those
report.
of you in Gloucestershire, just stock up on everything. Just stock up on everything.
Not just Gloucestershire, freaking everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah. If you're on a lowland or a midland area, stock up. Just stock up. You done?
Yeah, and yellow weather warning has been issued for ice for Devon and parts of Cornwall.
Oh no, man! More fucking weather warnings.
Yeah.
We're not even halfway through January yet.
It actually went from an amber warning to a red weather warning before.
No. I heard we have very rare red warnings.
Yeah.
In Cornwall, madness stuff. Anyway, Epstein kept me separate from his sexual side because I'm gay. Madison told the BBC. Lord Madison has said he's never saw a girl at Jeffrey Epstein's properties and declined to apologise to the late paedophile's victims for maintaining his friendship with America, with the American, because he was not knowledgeable of what he was doing. I find this hard to believe, because if you've wandered round Epstein's island and homes and that lot and you don't see all the bondage you could, what the fuck is going on? In his first interview since being sacked as the UK's ambassador to the US over his links to Epstein, he told the BBC he thought he had been kept separate from the sexual side of the late financier's life because he was gay. He was fired after emails emerged showing supportive messages he sent to Epstein after the American was convicted for soliciting prostitution from a minor. You fucking... Madison, you're a paedophile enabler, man. I'm sorry. He was found guilty. And you were still supporting the blood. Now, admittedly, I get it. You're a ride or die Epstein Diddy man. Get your baby oil. But it's nasty. You can't be my ambassador for that. It's nasty. Former ambassador said the only person he had seen on Epstein's property were middle-aged housekeepers. The schoolgirls of yesterday. You have to laugh. I know many people are going to find this quite funny. You have to laugh because of how fucking evil and how disgusting it is that someone like Peter Mandelson can become an ambassador in the political cliques of our society whilst being friends to a fucking kiddie fiddler. Okay? We have to laugh because there is no other reaction you can have.
Right, it's either laugh or extreme rage.
Yeah. You know, all in this hopeless situation, laughter is all we can really muster. He said he would have apologised were he in any way complacent or culpable, but stressed that was never the case. You were continuing to give supporting messages to a man who was a convicted paedophile. At the time of the emails! You fucking retard!
And the fact that you said you wasn't involved because you was gay, I severely doubt that. I really do.
Just fucking hell. Epstein, a well-connected financier, died in New York prison cell in 2019, awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. He had previously been convicted in 2008 of soliciting prostitution from a child, a minor. Fucking hell, for which he was registered as a sex offender. You were still supporting him whilst he was a registered sex offender, Peter Mandelson. You shouldn't have been fired, you should have been prosecuted. Asked on BBC One Sunday with Laura Kunisberg whether he would like to apologise to Epstein's victims for continuing the friendship after the first convictions, he said, I want to apologise to those women who for the system that refused to hear their voices and did not get them the protection they were entitled to expect. Oh, how do cunts like this make it to power, Chris?
Money.
Just bleh, bleh. And as I said, I apologise to anybody who's offended about me laughing. I laugh as a kind of bodily reaction of my revulsion that someone like Lord Peter Mandelson, you know, the one-time Machiavellian of Tony Blair, could be a fucking ambassador to anywhere, let alone America. Oh, it tells you everything you need to know about what's fucking wrong with this Labour government right now.
The fact that he's still walking about pisses me off.
Yeah. I wanted to apologise. The system gave him protection and not them. If I had known, if I was in any way complicit or culpable, of course, I would apologise for it. But I will not. I was not culpable. I was not knowledgeable of what was doing. Motherfucker, you're best friends with a paedophile. You continue. I regret and will regret to my dying day the fact that the powerless women who were denied in voice were not given the protection they were entitled to expect. Lord Mandelson said he believed he was kept separate from Epstein's sex life because of his own sexuality. Oh, the delusions of politicians.
I do not believe that, because if you're best friends with a buddy, yeah, I'm sorry, you are involved somehow, but literally your best buddy.
He's in all my shady shit, and I'm not fucking gay. Okay, he's in all my shady shit, and he knows.
Your best friend literally turn around and go, if I'm going down, I know I'm going down. I'm gonna make sure that this son of a bitch can carry on with whatever shady shit he's doing. He's probably covered your ass in more ways than you say.
He refers to one occasion he had spent 1 or 2 nights in Epstein's infamous private island, as well as visited Epstein's New York and New Mexico properties. The only people there were the housekeepers. Never were there any young women or girls or people that he was preying on or engaging with in that sort of ghastly predatorial way that was subsequently found out he was doing. Epstein was never there, he noted on his visits to the island. The government sacked Lord Mandelson as ambassador in the US after emails showed he had been in contact with Epstein after his paedophile conviction. That's why, you stupid cunt. Oh, I'm going to need a fucking aspirin, Chris.
Taddy's getting aggravated.
Just why did that cunt make it to ambassador of the US? Where are your services, civil servants? In the message which were published by Bloomberg and The Sun, Lord Mandelson was reported to have told Epstein to fight for early release, and the day before he began his prison sentence, I think the world of you.
And you will say you're not complicit within the shit that happens.
Oh my days, Chris! If I'd sent you that message, while you're going down, you know he wants to join my prison. That's as a code for saying my buddy's coming. My ride or die will be here in a couple of months. The fuck are you doing, Epstein? Lord Mandelson, you're off your fucking train. I don't remember sending them. They no longer exist on my server, he said.
That means shit. I best delete the shit that is going to corrupt me.
You see, at least, you know, Chris, if you'd stabbed someone and I was complicit and I'd come down with you for it, at least I could have said, yeah, you know, we did it. Here's the evidence. Send me down to it. You know, you're gonna do your ride or die. Don't fucking say, oh, it's not on my server anymore. I don't remember sending that email. What the fuck?
If you were complicit and I knew I was going down, I'd fucking take you down with me anyway.
I mean, like, it's like the evidence was just an awkward involved. Yeah, he was here. He's buried the body.
yeah, he was involved. Why? He had the bar of acid ready before you guys spotted him.
It's a disaster. It's a fucking disaster. How Peter Mandelson thinks he's going to escape the grip of the death grip of the Lord of Baby Oils, Diddy's mentor. This is terrible. I'm going to have to take this clip. The Messiah to Diddy, Epstein.
Oh my.
You have to. There is no other fucking sense to this entire thing. I am Diddy. Praise Epstein.
If we get hit with a lawsuit for defamation against Diddy, I'm blaming you.
Oh, motherfucker can't touch us. He's getting bent over in prison. You got nothing to worry about him.
Baby oil being used on him.
I'm just... The way that this message from Lord Mandelson comes across is just like it's damage control. It's like he's preparing damage control for a future job that's going on. He said he understood why he'd been sacked. The Prime Minister had found himself in the middle of what must have seemed like him to be some kind of thermonuclear explosion. I've been there. I know what goes on. I wish I had the opportunity to remind him of the circumstances of my relationship, my friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, and how I came to write the email in the first place. You 2 sentences previously don't remember the fucking email. Make your fucking mind up.
You just contradict yourself within a paragraph.
Lord Mandelson.
Step down. Just hand all your titles back.
Just please go
disappear.
away. You're an embarrassment to this country on so many levels. Oh, it's so frustrating. Over to you, Chris. I'm gonna fucking stab my screen in a minute.
You might stab mine in a minute. All right. Serial rapist David Carrick among Met Office
we go
police
from worse
officers
to fucking worse.
not properly vetted before joining force. Carrick, who was given 35 life sentences for his crimes, was not properly vetted in 2017, which checks failing to reveal an allegation of domestic abuse against him. Oh.
Yeah, I felt that.
More than 130 officers and staff within the Metropolitan Police, including 2 convicted serial rapists, not 1, 2.
2. Oh, it's Metpol. It's Metpol. You know, I'm not even surprised. Let's stop. If that had been Gloucester, Oxford, any of those shires, I'd have been shocked. It's Metpol. Meh.
Serial rapists committed crimes or misconduct due to significant failures in the force's vetting process. A review has found David Carrick, one of the UK's most prolific sex offenders who received 37 life sentences, was improperly vetted in 2017. Checks failed to reveal a domestic abuse allegation against him. Chief Mitchell, who carried out a campaign of rape on 2 victims over 9 years, was allowed to join the force in 2020.
Oh my God. There's no other reaction. What do you do? Metpol, well done. You're the fucking scum of the entire country.
A vetting panel partly aimed at improving diversity overturned an initial rejection despite a previous accusation of him raping a child.
It would be a diversity thing, wouldn't it? It would. All the fighting we do to try and keep multicultural Britain together, me and Chris, it would be a diversity fucking panel that overturns a rapist.
The findings highlight systemic vetting failures within British Land Police Force. The 131 cases revealed as part of a vetting review that looked at the 10 years up to the end of March 2023. Other serious crimes committed by officers and staff, including drug use, racism, violence, and what? Affray. The review published on Thursday found that thousands of police officers and staff were not properly checked, aimed pressure during a national recruitment drive from July 2019 to March 23.
It's Metpol. It's fucking Metpol. There's nothing else that needs to be said.
Senior officers at the Met chose not to meet national guidelines aimed a scramble to find 4,557 recruits in a 3.5-year period.
Metpol. Like, I'm as exasperately laughing I am to this because of how horrific it is, fucking horrific. Just my nerves playing up. I don't have any other real reaction I can give. It's Metpol. Now, if this had been Oxfordshire Police Force, their superintendent would have resigned. Metpol's is like, oh, they found out about our dirty recruitment. Oh, I'll better get back to work then. Literally, they don't care. They do not give a shit.
Deviations from standard practice meant thousands of references were not checked, and shortcuts in vetting led to recruitment and retention of some officers and staff who should not have been in the force and contributed to police perpetrated harm and damaged public trust, it said. Under the Police Uplift Programme, forces in England and Wales were expected to recruit 20,000 officers within 3.5 years to replace the cut during austerity, and funding was ring-fenced, and therefore lost. Its targets were not met.
Let me be very clear. I'm not even surprised, but my question is, did the Metpol boss who fucking hired all them step down?
I fucking very much doubt it.
Because that's the problem.
Well,
If that happened in Gloucestershire where we live and the superintendent had done that, he'd have been gone.
Yeah.
He'd have been gone.
The report found the review identifies a series of decisions, some which were taken in isolation, with all compounded together and inadvertently increased risk. In total, 5,073 officers and staff were not properly vetted, of whom 4,528 had no special branch vetting checks, 431 had no Ministry of Defence checks, and 114 had no vetting refusals overturned by the Met internal panel. Another 3,338 who were due for vetting renewal only had limited checks. The Met estimated around 1,200 people who joined the force may have had their vetting refused under normal practices out of around 27,300 applicants. Separately, 17,355 officers and staff did not have their references properly checked, if at all, between 2018 and April 2022.
That's what you get. That's what you get when you got a recruitment drive. And
The Met has not checked each of these files, but estimates around 250 would not have got a job if the referrals had been checked. And out of those 250, one of them would have been this fucking serial rapist. Change the fact that they didn't double check on domestic abuse, and the fact that he also had allegations of raping a child before even joining the force.
Fuck!
So,
Jesus Christ!
What the fuck?
An allegation! Not an allegation shouldn't be dismiss you to be having a place of position of authority when it involves the police force. I have some sordid past in my history, just for our viewers. There was a point in my life where I contemplated actually considering becoming a police officer. I'm genuinely serious about this. My early 30s. When I sat down and spoke to a member of the Gloucestershire Constabulary, and we were discussing it, and this is one of the reasons why I'm in the type of work I'm in now, he said to me, you've got earnest, you've got mass, you clearly have got good morals. Do you have any convictions? When I discussed my convictions, he said, there's no way. He said, there's no way. The fact that you would probably get to the vetting stage, as he said to me, and they'd thank you for coming. And you'd be ticked to someone who's tried to apply, even with your criminal record, your honesty would be held up. You'd be considered in a very good light in that regard, but they wouldn't take you for the very risk, the fact that you have a criminal record. And that should, how the fuck does Metpol recruit these people?
Not vetting them, clearly.
I just, like I said, that was just a conversation. I never did apply to the Gloucestershire establishment, but what I'm saying is the conversation that I had with the police force was enough to make it clear that anybody with a criminal record should not be in the police force from a Gloucestershire point of view. But not if you're in Metpol. No. If you can cover it up and you deny it and that lot, and the vetting.
That's something you write on your CV to get applicated to get in.
Oh God, Chris, fucking Jesus. Na'udhu billah min shaitanir
Well,
rajeem.
going by this, it fucking is. Allegation and conviction, we don't care. Come on in.
What? what, you're racist, misogynistic, you hate blacks? Welcome to the force, son.
I was going to say something, but I'm not going to, because I'm probably getting some deep water.
I think this episode is already in deep water. I'm laughing at tragedy.
Well, this precise moment, I would not be surprised if the Metron police get attached to a certain type of group.
We all know they're bought and paid for by special interest groups in fucking London. That's already a problem. And those special interest groups are all renowned for having kiddie fiddlers amongst them. Renowned. They run off to this special land.
No, I wasn't thinking the kiddie fiddler group.
No. That's what I'm thinking. You know those people who run off to their special land.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Those
talking
that,
about.
no, that's what I'm talking. Yeah. No, Chris, that's what I'm talking about. The people with their special land, they've got an exponential amount of kiddie fiddlers amongst them. God's sake. And then they run off to their special land where they can't be prosecuted or deported. Yeah. Fucking evil people. Evil fucking people. Evil. And the police who service that are also fucking evil. Disgusting. You done, my soldier?
Yeah.
Thousands of homes still without water in southeast. Tens of thousands of homes in the southeast of England are still without water, with many total supply will not be restored until late, at least Tuesday. In Sussex, some 6,500 houses in East Grinstead, I know East Grinstead rather well, have no or low pressure supplies, with people in Earthbound and the village of Upper Decker experiencing similar problems. In Kent, about 4,500 homes in the Hollandborough, Headcorn and Aldcorn, Kingswood and Sutton Valleys area have been left with no water, whilst those in Wotherham, Sevenstoke and the loose area of Maidstone have low pressure or no supply. South East Water, who should be nationalised, has apologised to all those affected and said it was delivering water to those on its priority register. The supply problem has caused by a number of issues. Do you notice how they use that language, number of issues? They don't actually tell you what the fucking issues are, but they call them number of issues. South East Water, you are fucking useless. The company blames Storm Greta and cold weather for the outages in East Grinstead and essential network changes. What's the problem? Is it because you haven't run your fucking maintenance in 20 fucking years? Is it because you've never given an investment into your fucking structural materials? Can we have an actual point-by-point failure of what you've done? Yeah? Some understanding of what's going on here, South East Water, would be deeply appreciated. It said the issues in Hollandborough were due to neighbouring water companies being unable to give us the bulk supply of treated water as they normally do. So because your systems are so fucked and your reservoirs and infrastructure is such a mess that you have to borrow from another company that you quickly pass more money to. Are you fucking joking? Useless. Fucking useless, Chris. I told you, we nationalise fucking... Me and you ever make Prime Minister, we nationalise everything in the personal fucking space. Electric, water, fucking rail, fucking postal service, the whole fucking lot. We once owned it, we'll own it again. Useless cunts. Fucking useless.
Postal service will actually become quite decent then, as well as everything else.
A number of bottled water stations have been set up around the region, with residents say it causes chaos on the roads. A woman from Forest Rose, 2 miles south of East Grinstead, told the BBC most of the village is currently without water, and yet we have to travel to East Grinstead to collect bottled supplies. The roads around East Grinstead are gridlocked with people queuing for water. Why aren't there water stations in villages around East Grinstead than those without? South East Water says it has delivered water to the elderly and vulnerable, and indeed my sister, aged 72, had water delivered to her. However, her 92-year-old neighbour received nothing. How are the elderly and those without care experts to travel to East Grinstead to get water? She added, 2 water collection points is obviously woefully insufficient. Of course it is! They've been caught with not fucking investing in their infrastructure for decades. And the fucking goddamn politicians are like, why are you not angry about this, Britain? That's what fucks me off. How can you consider water companies from the infrastructure we gave them, from our British waters, our British electricity, and they keep fucking it up for profit? The BBC put these comments to SUS, which said it had taken actions following criticisms. cunts. Absolute fucking cunts. She's considered Myers Davis, the Conservative MP for East Grinstead and Oakford, said she felt extremely sorry and frustrated for vulnerable customers, those with livestock, young children and babies, alongside with all the businesses which are deeply affected. She described the ongoing situation as the worst case scenario. You allowed this scenario. The very nature of your fucking party created the private fucking sector of the water, the electric, the rail. Ah! Oh, it's a worst case scenario, Chris. Worst case, don't you know? Stephen Andrews.
You should prepare for the worst case fucking scenario.
Just entirely unacceptable. Stephen Andrews, incident manager at SES, said, "We have listened to the customers' feedback regarding yesterday's bottled water stations at Sainsbury's, Brooklands Way, and we have taken the decision not to open this today, with an alternative bottling water station opening at East Grinstead Sports Centre. We apologise for the disruption caused to the local community." The other bottled watering station in East Grinstead is at the Queensway car park in Kent, water stations at the Tunbridge Wells Rugby Club and Harcorn Erin in Ashford.
Do you realise it's not the first time they've had issues?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely hasn't the first time. Not even remotely the first time. And what pisses me off is that water companies and electric companies keep getting away with it because the politicians that are elected are on their fucking payroll. Britain, you have to replace the entire system. Oh. You got another point, I believe?
Yeah.
Over to you, my boy.
Literally. Investigation following misidentification of 2 people involved in the fatal Rotherham crash. The Independent Office of Police Conduct, the IOPC, has begun an investigation into the circumstances around the misidentification of 2 young people involved in a fatal crash in Rotherham. It follows a collision on Todrick Road in Rotherham on December 13th, 2025, in which a 17-year-old girl and Joshua Johnson, 18, sadly died. A 17-year-old boy remains in the hospital receiving treatment for injuries sustained in the collision. We were informed by South Yorkshire Police on Tuesday, 6 January, that initially police had incorrectly informed the family of the 17-year-old boy that had died and told the family of Joshua Johnson he was sedated in hospital. We have now begun an independent investigation which will look at the actions and decisions makings of the police involved in the identification process. The IOPC director, Emily Barry, said, "My sincere condolences and thoughts go out to all those involved. It is hard to imagine what these families have been through in the past 3 weeks. It is clear something has gone very wrong with an awful consequence for them. We understand the concern about the incident, and it is vital that we carry out a thorough investigation independently of the police to establish exactly how and why this has happened."
People need to get fired. People need to get fired for these things. Too many people are getting comfortable by this level of fucking incompetence.
We will carefully examine the circumstances regarding the identification of the individuals following the collision, including what policies and procedures were in place and whether they were followed appropriately to determine the facts and identify any learning arising from this tragic situation. Well, clearly the policies weren't followed, otherwise you wouldn't have misidentified people. What a fucking useless fucking statement that is.
Oh, God.
It would have been a bit better for... We'll examine the thing because clearly the policy and procedures have not been followed, and we're going to identify why. Not to the fact that we're going to review them. We're going to look at them because something's gone wrong.
Britain, I really do. Everybody who watches this podcast, I know there might be only about 200 of you who might ever get to the end of this video. I am really sorry about how much laughter I'm doing because it is a nerve reaction for me. Because of how fucking horrifying this stuff is. Fuck me.
Literally, I'm sorry, but the ones that were involved in identifying the people should be put on immediate suspension. Yeah. I know some people probably say, sack them. No, so it could be a case of the fact of improper training to start off with. So suspension to review is the first step.
I'm a cunt. They've just told a family their son was alive and then snatched that away from them. That should be fucking fireable.
I would immediately suspend them, then look at the thing, and then obviously go from there.
And if they have been properly trained and they'd all been ticked off, then you fire them.
Yeah, so if they've ticked all the green boxes, then you turn and go, sorry, your employment is no longer needed, and they're gone. But if you find that improper training has been conducted, or
they hadn't received the proper training,
or haven't received it,
then the sergeant in charge is about to get an arse whipped.
Yeah, then the sergeant in charge is going to get a formal warning, disciplinary action, followed by them getting the training again correctly.
Just wow.
While still being on suspension for at least 6 months.
Fucking wow comes to my mind.
Unpaid suspension, mind. I'm not paying for the fuckers making mistakes.
You can't. The law of the country.
Oh, they've frigging changed it, aren't they?
Yeah, you can't.
Damn it. All right, low pay suspension.
That you can do.
Yeah. I know. Low pay suspension is statutory sick pay.
Oh, I hate that stuff.
It's one way to get them to learn the correct lesson, isn't it?
Today's podcast has had me laughing, and as I say, it is a physical reaction, Britain. It is not a me finding any of this stuff funny. It is my nerves looking at the horror that we're presenting to you, the horror show that is today's podcast, and going, what the fuck, Britain? And I mean, that's really, it is. It's so ghastly, you have to laugh at it. And I'm kind of sick at myself that I have been laughing at it, but, you know, it's a nerve reaction than an actual me finding it funny. Oh, the billah. How weird this stuff is. But I believe we've come to the end of our podcast for today. And as horrifying as it is today, thank you to everyone who gets to the end. I am, as always, John, Sean, or Yahya, depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris. Hope you have a smashing day.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.